we did all that to come up with the fact that the distance from the focus to a point on the parabola, in this case we're going to say the distance to the vertex, is 1 over 4a. Okay? So we did that big, long math problem, this one, to prove that we get, and then we said that means y equals 1 over 4p, so x squared, so a is equal to 1 over 4p. So when we solved, we got that p is equal to 1 over 4a. Okay? So if you think about it, so on a coordinate plane, we have a parabola. So the focus would be up here, and the directrix would be down here, right? Because they'd be the exact same distance from the parabola, right? Okay? So if I knew the vertex and I knew how to calculate that distance, couldn't I just take the y coordinate and add that distance to get that distance, or to get that ordered pair? And I could take that y and subtract it and get that coordinate, right? So that's kind of what this is saying. It's saying to find the focus, the h, these are all lined up on the same x, the same axis of symmetry, right? So the h isn't going to change. The x coordinate's not going to change. But the k, the y, is going to go up by p, and the k on the directrix is going to go down by p. Okay? So that's what this says. Leave h alone, but take k and add 1 over 4a. And then leave, for the directrix, you're going to take k and subtract 1 over 4a. Okay? And then this side is if you're graphing left and right, so it's going to be exactly the opposite. Like the focus and directrix are going to be moving this way, so the h is going to change, but the k is going to stay the same. Right? See what I mean? Yes. It's here. And this one is going to have some fractions in it, so bear with me. We're going to do it. We're going to charge through with fractions. All right, so to find the vertex, what's the first thing I do? What's the formula to find the x? Of a vertex of a parabola? Right, opposite of b over 2a. The opposite of b over 2a. So the opposite of b is 6, and 2 times a is 4. So the x coordinate is 3 over 2. Okay? Everybody with me? To find y, then I just plug 3 over 2 in for x, and that's when we get into the fractions. So it's 2 times 3 over 2 squared minus 6 times 3 over 2 plus 4. Okay? And then I need more room here, so I'm going to move down here. So 3 over 2 squared is 9 over 4. So I've got 2 times 9 over 4 minus 6 times 3 over 2 plus 4. Okay? Oh, it's really in the way, isn't it? How about if would that help? Okay, then I'm going to just think about just fractions for a minute. I'm going to just reduce this because 2 and 4 both have a 2 in common, so I'm going to divide out a 2 from there. and divide out a 2 from there. So 1 times 9 is 9, and 1 times 2 is 2. So this becomes 9 over 2 minus, okay, and the 6 and the 2 can also reduce. 2 goes into 2 once, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 1 is 1 plus 4. Okay, and then keep going. I'm going to change this into a mixed number. So 9 divided by 2 is 4 1/2. So I get 4 1/2 minus 9 plus 4. 4 1/2 minus 9 is negative 4 1/2 plus 4. And negative 4 1/2 plus 4 is negative 1/2. Okay? Is the fraction stuff okay with that? We all right? Okay. So that means my final vertex is 3 halves, because that was my x, and negative 1/2, and that was my y. Okay? Now I need to know how far away the focus and the directrix are. And so to calculate the distance between the vertex and the focus, or the vertex and the directrix, is 1 over 4a. So to calculate the distance, I do 1 over 4 times, and a is 2. So the distance away, the focus is away from the vertex, is 1/8 of a unit. That's really little, right? Because this, between these two lines is 1 unit, so it's like 1/8 of a unit. So the focus is really close. All right, and the focus is going to be right above the vertex, so the 3 over 2 is going to stay the same, but the y-coordinate is going to be 1/8 of a unit higher. So I take negative 1/2 and I add 1/8 to it. You can't add fractions that don't have like denominators, so I'm going to change this negative 1/2 to negative 4/8. And then negative 4/8 plus a positive 1/8 is negative 3/8. So that's the coordinates of my focus. Okay? And then my directrix, I go back to the negative 1/2, only this time I'm subtracting 1/8 because it's 1/8 below the directrix. So I do negative 4/8 minus 1/8, and that gives me negative 5/8. And remember, it's a line. It's not a point. So I'm just going to do y equals negative 5/8. Okay? All right. So my axis of symmetry is at 3 halves. So that's like right there, right? Right kind of in the middle of these blocks here. And my vertex is at 3 over 2, negative 3/8. Or sorry, negative 1/2. So that would be like right there. Right? Halfway down one block. Okay? But my focus is at 3 halves, negative 3/8. So it's going to be like right there. Just 1/8 above the focus. Or I mean 1/8 above the vertex. The focus is 1/8 above the vertex. And the directrix is going to be 1/8 below the vertex. So it's going to be, actually let me just make that solid. It's going to be down here. Okay? And then I can graph it just the way I normally do. Like I know the y-intercept is 4. So I could, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my parabola is right there. And see how the focus is right above it and the directrix is right below it. Yes. Well, the directrix is a line. So it's right, right. So for when it's left and right, it's going to be an X. And when it's up and down, it's going to be a Y equals. Okay, so the vertex is opposite of B over 2A. So the opposite of B is 8, and 2A is 2 times 1/4. Well, what is 2 times 1/4? What's 2 1/4? 1/2. Okay, so it's 8 divided by 1/2. And remember, dividing by 1/2 is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So dividing by 1/2 is the same as multiplying by 2. So 8 divided by 1/2 is 16. Or you could think of it, there are 16 1/2 in 8. Like if I had 8 pies and I divided them all in half, I'd have 16 halves, right? All right, then I need to plug that 16 into the equation to get the x coordinate, because remember this is left to right, so I just found out what y was. So in the vertex, the y is going to be 16. So I get 1/4 times 16 squared minus 8 times 16 plus 1. So 16 squared is 256, and 1/4 of 256 is 64. And 64 minus, and 8 times 16 is 128. So 64 minus 128 is negative 64. Negative 64 plus 1 is negative 63. Clearly, if you ask me to graph this, is going to be really hard. Okay, so that's my x. So that's going to be, this is the coordinates of my vertex. We get it the same way we have done the last couple days. But now I need to get my focus and my directrix. And to find out the distance between my vertex and my focus, I do 1/4 times A. And A in this case is 1/4, right? What's 4 times 1/4? 1. So 1/1 is 1. So the distance between my vertex and my focus is adding 1, and the distance between my vertex and my directrix is subtracting 1. Does that make sense? Okay? So if the y is going to stay the same, right? Because the focus and directrix are going to go this way. So the y is going to stay 16. But if I add 1 to negative 63, what do I get? Negative 62. And if I subtract 1 from negative 63, I get, right, negative 64. Okay, so if, like, can you just pretend like that is, what would be positive? Let's pretend like that is 16 negative 63. Okay, it's not, but let's pretend it is. Okay, then the focus would be at 16 negative, negative 62 would be here, 1 away, right, 1 that way, and the directrix would be negative 64, which would be 1 that way. So my parabola would look like that, with the directrix below it and the focus above it. Yep.